For those who don't know me, I am Tevin Farquharson. I am the founder of Premium Pictures LLC. I am a photographer, a videographer. I also am a cameraman for streamers and influencers. I was born and raised in Broward County, Florida. That's where I've been living for the last 23 years of my life. So it's great that I can be in South Florida and I can get to call it home, and let's get started. So first impression when I got there, like, bro, oh my gosh. I was super duper overly excited. This is something that I was praying for. It's something I was like, God, please, please, please help me to be able to get there. I was originally working with, and I'll, shout him out too, McQueen, the Mega McQueen on Instagram, McQueen Live on Twitch and YouTube. He was, one of the people that I first started working with prior to working with King. And I was supposed to go to Stream Review with him originally, but unfortunately it didn't work out. I still was able to get there though, thank God. I made it with King. And I was still happy, excited. I'll go from, when I got the call, I started packing. I, called my family, let them know, told my parents. They wasn't too happy and enthused about it because, they don't necessarily agree with, like the type of lifestyle and the content that, these creators make and stuff like that. But it's my passion. So, I'm gonna go by it full force no matter what. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I love them nonetheless, and I know they do love me. They just want to see what's best for me. And was in Port St. Lucie currently at the time when I got the phone call, so I knew that I had to pack my bag that day, that Wednesday, and that Wednesday, and get down to Broward as fast and soon as possible so I can be ready for that flight that I had to take. It was, the Stream Review was from July 15th to the 20th. So it was for 5 days. It was, like I said, it was a great experience. Going into it, I was happy and excited. I got down to Broward, ate, prepared myself, and I went to the airport. I ended up seeing King there. I met his editor. That was the first time I was meeting his editor as well. We spoke a little bit. He ended up getting the TVU1 bag. I had never used the bag before. They kind of did like a little brief, explanation for me on it. It wasn't nothing like serious or concrete or in-depth enough for me to be like, okay, get the grasp of the bag entirely. But I was just caught up in the moment and excited and ready to, perform the way that I know that I do. And I was like, let's go. We got on the plane. I had the plane ride. Plane ride was great. We had to do 2 planes because we had to fly from Fort Lauderdale to Nashville. I actually didn't even know the location of where Stream Review was gonna be. Nobody knew the location apart from I think the streamers, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody knows now, so I can say it now. It was in Little Rock, Arkansas, which was awesome. I've never been to Arkansas before in my entire life, so going somewhere new, or I've never been to Nashville either. So going to 2 places that I've never been to before was great. I took some pictures, just a little bit, of scenery, stuff like that. I can insert them on the screen somewhere. But I took some pictures and just me on the plane and, just on some chill stuff. And that was it. It was cool. We had the connecting flight. It was 1, 2, 3. The bags got transferred. There was no issues with bags at all. And then we made it into Little Rock around maybe 10 something in the night. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, around 10 something in the night. And when we got there, a lot of the other creators had flown in around the exact same time too. I'm very observant, especially when I'm with people I don't know and I'm in spaces that are new. So I'm very observant. I'm observing some of the other creators that are there, some people that I've never seen before on YouTube, people that I have seen before on YouTube and Instagram. So it was kind of cool to start, touching touching the scenery of these new, some smaller creators and some bigger creators. It was awesome. And then, you know, that's really the beginning of it. And, you know, we got on to the shuttles. They gave us shuttles. Kai got us shuttles, and shout out to Kai as well for putting this whole thing on together. Like, that man is like an incredible human being based off of, you know, firsthand experience, seeing what he created and brought to life with just, you know, his mind and his brain, and letting it, you know, become a whole thing. So shout out to Kai for sure. We ended up getting to the hotels around like maybe 11:30, 45-ish, around that time. Got checked into our room and we were just mingling. I saw McQueen for the first time in like maybe 4 or 5 months, and that was awesome. He just greeted me with open arms. Like, he was like, "Yo, Tev!" Dapped me up. It was great. We ended up chopping it up just a little bit. I met Jacob, his cameraman. Shout out to Jacob for all the camera work that he does for McQueen currently. They're doing big things as well. And it was good. You know, we chopped it up, we talked. I met some other influencers and the other streamers, some new streamers, some people that have been streaming for a minute. Bro, there was a bunch of police. Apparently, like, the hotel locations, even before we got to the hotel, while we were still in the airport, the locations got leaked. It was a whole lot of, but, you know, everybody was safe. Police was, you know, on site from the moment we were at the airport, when we got to the hotel, during our stay at the hotel for the one night, all the way up until we left the hotel to go to the actual like college campus. You know, it was very secure and tight-knit when it came to, like, you know, our protection, when it came from, you know, the streamers to cameramen to everybody that came on the trip. The next morning when we got up, we had breakfast, showered, packed up our things, went downstairs, and the buses were supposed to come pick us up at 1 p.m. to be able to go to the campus. That's where we saw a lot of the other creators as well. It was cool seeing them too as well. We got to the campus. It was like maybe a 30-ish minute drive from where the hotels were. And then we got on the campus. That's where, you know, there's a whole bunch of fans that were outside ready to greet us. I want to highlight this specific individual, Yana. I can put her Instagram somewhere here too as well. I actually met Yana for the first time. Took a picture of her. I'll put the picture somewhere up here too as well. She's actually really sweet, a really nice, you know, girl. Cool person. She's very friendly. Very, like, you know, high energy, high spirits. Anything that you see on camera with Yana specifically, she's just the same way off camera. I actually met her the night before too, and she sounds and acts just the same way. For anybody that's, you know, ever wondered or wanted to know or asked, it was just really cool and awesome. For the entire week, boy oh boy, like I say, that anybody that asks me, streamer, you was an experience. There was ups, there was downs, there was, you know, positives, there was negatives, but, you know, there's lessons that were learned for sure, 100%. But in all, like, I was blessed to be there. I'm glad that, you know, I did get to have a good time as well. The times when I was actually having a good time. It was a all-in-one package, if you want to put it like that. I will say though, for, you know, getting into the nitty and gritty of it, for the first 3 days, it was rough. It was rough. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got thrown in the lion's den when it came to the equipment that was being used. You know, this is my first time using that TVU bag. I did, you know, there was very minimal research that was being, you know, shown when I did my research on it. I didn't get too much information from, you know, the people that used the bag when he was shooting with King. So, like, I kind of had to, like, figure out on my own, which if I'm gonna be so honest with you, was not the best thing for that type of event. It shouldn't have been something that I just had to figure out on my own along the way. Unfortunately, that's what I had to do. I'm the cameraman, so like I gotta make sure everything is locked in, squared away. I'm prepared, even though I was unprepared by people who should have prepared me. You know, I'm not one to like 100% point fingers and blame people and not take any accountability. I know throughout the entirety of the trip there was certain things that I could have executed better on my part as a cameraman. I know that there was certain things, you know, from the production that we did have behind the scenes that, you know, could have been executed from the streamer that I was streaming with himself. There was things as well that I felt like he would have reaped the benefits that he sowed during streaming university. It would have been way better for him if he executed what he needed to execute the way that he was talking about it, you know? I feel like just all around overall, if there was more preparation prior to Streamer U as a team, not just individually, there was a lot more communication for sure as a team, not just individually, and very clear communication. Let me, you know, add that in there. And also like just, you know, just everybody just working together and, you know, just highlighting when we're doing wrong and also highlighting when we're doing amazing. I feel like if all of those things were all put together by our production team that we created for Streaming University, and everybody was working and coming together to make the whole experience of, you know, King being on this platform and just excelling in the way that he needed to, a lot of things would have went smoother, especially for the first 3 days. I had a hard time. It got to a point where I was just, you know, in my head about, you know, whether or not this is something that's for me, whether or not, like, you know, it was a good decision for me to accept the position and come here, you know, whether or not, you know, if I should ever pick up my camera again. Like it did, you know, unfortunately behind the scenes, it did get that bad. It really did get that bad. It's kind of discouraging to, you know, always hear a lot of negativity, and then when you're, you know, doing the right things, or, you know, you're doing what you're supposed to do, like it's dead silence. Nobody says anything about it. It kind of gets, you know, overwhelming and discouraging. But I will say though, like for myself, for every obstacle that was thrown at me, for everything that I didn't know, for everything that I had to adapt to, for everything that I had to figure out on my own, like I do genuinely commend myself for, you know, stepping up to the plate and not like allowing my emotions or allowing the negativity from everybody that I was receiving in certain moments get to my head to make my performance fail or fumble, especially in the moments that was needed. I do commend myself being in that hot sun. Like, oh my gosh, Arkansas is like hot. I don't know if you want to be in competition with Florida type heat, but out there, boy, it was humid. It was humid as hell. So, you know, being carrying around that backpack with the TVU in there, and the TVU creates heat, and we have a whole bunch of batteries on us, trying to switch out batteries while following the action at the same time. Like, bro, it was a whole lot of, but all in all, I still, like I said, I'll always go back to saying that I'm grateful for the experience. And even though, you know, there was ups and downs, people didn't see eye to eye, you know, there are very super low energy moments. I and the, you know, rest of individuals did what we got to do to make the best and make the most out of it. With all of that being said, I was able to learn a lot. Some of the biggest takeaways that I had from my experience as a cameraman at Streamer University was having a team is extremely important to everybody being able to communicate with each other. At least it doesn't have to be too super, you know, personal and like kiki ha ha, but like, you know, everybody being able to at least communicate in an effective way is very big and huge. Being able to be detailed and attentive. I know that it's not necessarily the creator's job to know everything that goes on behind the scenes to make the streams what it ought to be, but especially if you're bringing somebody on board to something that's like new or they've never touched or done before, at least, you know, catch them up to speed. So, and then they can take the reins from there and move forward with, you know, whatever it is they got to do with and have the responsibility to excel. But, you know, don't just like I said, throw them in the lines, then expect them to know everything and exceed if they, you know, were just thrown into the lines. Then, like I said, making sure that knowing your equipment, knowing how it works, the ins and outs of it, being able to just stay 10 steps ahead of your, actually for a cameraman, really stay 20 steps ahead of your streamers, 10 steps ahead, you know. That's a big takeaway. Being able to read body language and being able to anticipate things before the streamer does. And just be a problem solver overall. I know that, you know, there's certain issues that can be out of our control. For what's in our control, we can control, you know what I'm saying? So lastly, I just want to say, you know, this opportunity, like I said in the very beginning, it meant so much to me. I was forever grateful to be able to get the opportunity to be a cameraman for a streamer at Streamer University, and I can't wait for next year. I heard that it's gonna be in Europe, so God willing, whoever I get to go with next year, I hope that, you know, we'll be locked in. We'll be able to have built a chemistry from, you know, this year on to into the next year. And I can't wait. 2027, Europe, Streamer University. I'm so ready. And for all my other cameramen out there that are just starting out and that are just getting into the scene of things, I just want to let you know, bro, always keep your head up. Even when chat's on your case, even when your streamer's on your case, never take things too personally. That's one thing that I learned and I'm actively trying to continue learn during this entire, you know, journey of being a cameraman and working with influencers and streamers. Never take things too personally, because if you take things too personally, bro, it's gonna get to your head and, you know, it's gonna mess up your energy and it'll mess up your performance. So don't take things too personally too much, and just make sure, you know, you're performing and excelling and always adapting and always making the necessary adjustments to be great. Be great for yourself. In turn, you'll be great for your streamer, and in turn, it'll be great for the whole team and the whole process, and everybody will just win. So with that said, it's Sam Ferguson again. I thank y'all for, you know, tuning in. That was my entire experience at Streamer University. I can't wait to be there again for 2027. And this time it's gonna be out of the country in Europe. So I'm super excited for that, and I'm blessed and I'm grateful that I'm able to share with you guys and just able to, you know, have a voice for the cameraman, because I know not every cameraman is able to have a voice or even come in front of the camera and speak. So, you know, that's a blessing in itself. I'm gonna be doing more videos like this. I might be doing some like kind of lifestyle, kind of, you know, content about me personally. See where it goes. This is my first YouTube video that I'm going to be doing in front of the camera like that. For those who know me back in the day, I used to, you know, stream specifically gaming, but trying something a little different now. Stream University kind of put a spark behind my steps, so we're gonna see what happens. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.